Hi, I'm Amy from prettypurpledoor.com and cecilandlynn.com. And what I have here today is a project to glue like a little burlap mat and how to get it to really stick around a piece of cardboard or chipboard and make it look nice. So what you're going to do is cut a piece of chipboard to whatever size you need. And you're going to cut a piece of burlap that is, you know, an inch or two bigger than the piece of chipboard that you're using. The first step is to take the chipboard and use a spray adhesive to kind of coat the back. And you're just going to do an even coat all along the back here. Add some stray paint on here. It doesn't matter. It's going to get covered by this burlap anyway. And then you're just going to take it and put it face down right onto the burlap. And the trick here is just to kind of make sure that it's straight, because this kind of the burlap tends to wave. So try to get the little lines to line up as best you can and flip it over. And you're just going to use your hand, or if you have one of those brayers, you can use that to kind of smooth out the edges and the middle and make sure that it's glued down completely. It'll be immediately tacky, but depending on the type of spray adhesive you use, it might not be completely dry. So what I'm going to do is set it underneath something hard, heavy, so that it can dry. I usually use this mat, or actually my computer floor mat thing under my computer chair. I just stick it under there for 15-20 minutes and let it get tackier. So I'm going to take another piece that's already dry to continue with this. And what you're going to do, let me grab my scissors, is you're actually going to, if you have any excess, you're going to trim along the edges. I've already trimmed this, but I'm just going to show you. You want like maybe a ½ inch to an inch around the edges. And the big trick here is to cut corners. So you're going to take your scissors, go right up to the edge there of the chipboard, and then go across. So it looks kind of like a triangle, but you're actually cutting almost like a square or a rectangular piece off. You're going to do this on every corner, because this is going to help a lot when you go to glue these edges down, because when you fold them over, you're not going to have as much overlap, and it's not going to be as like bumpy and thick. It's going to make it easier to glue to your next surface or nail to your next surface, whatever you're using it for. I'm going to trim and then cut these edges. Okay, so now you see what I have here. 4 kind of rows with a triangle out of each end. Now, next step is to use a hot glue gun. So I'm going to put on my nasty gloves. They're a little embarrassing, but they get the job done. And this glue gun that my boyfriend bought me is like industrial strength crazy. It's not like a regular crafting one. So it burns. It really does hurt. And I've been burned by it too many times to not put gloves on. So what we're going to do here is just run a bead of glue along like one of your edges on the chipboard. And then the trick here is to take this and just kind of pull it and fold it over and just kind of smush it with your glove. Slide this on so that the glue catches and you really feel it stuck down there. You're going to get some frays and things like that when you do that. It's going to fray those edges, but it's okay because it's on the back. And you can cut off any excess when you finish. You just cut it off. It's not a big deal. Okay, so row 2. I actually also forgot to mention that when you're spraying that spray adhesive, you should probably do it outside. It's a little nasty smelling. It's like a spray paint. Or make sure you at least have a window open. Okay, so here I am at row 3 here. I'm just running a very thin bead. And if you miss a spot, or you see spots starting to like pop up a little bit, you can always just kind of, if you see here, mine's not sticking too well, so you just like run a little bit more in that area and kind of re-stick it. hold it for a second or two, depending on the strength of your hot glue gun. This one, like I said, is like really heavy duty. You might have to hold it for, you know, a couple seconds to get it to stick as well as you're seeing me do it here. One of the benefits of that kind of glue gun. Okay, so like I said, I'm just pulling and pulling and pulling, and make sure that these corners where you have a bit of overlap are doing really well. Okay, so I'm gonna take my gloves off, and what I'm gonna do now is just kind of trim this junk off the back. And you can see even here I have like on the corner, I have like a bit of a fray. So I'm just gonna trim it. It's not a big deal. You don't even have to do this. Sometimes I don't if I'm in a big hurry, but it's probably better to get these frays off. And if you're worried about it fraying after it's all glued down and you have it set with a nice picture in it, what you can do is run like a very, very thin coat of that Mod Podge, or even like Elmer's glue, and just water it down a bit, and take a little paintbrush and just kind of dab like the corners, and then run like a really thin amount along this back part where you think it might fray, and that'll stop it from fraying in the future. So there you have it. A nice little mat, very quick, fastest way that I've learned how to do this, and I do a lot of them. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I'd love to see what you make. So send me a picture. Thanks.